It was at the beginning of COVID, during the first lockdown, when we all had a lot of time for self-reflection, didn't we, that I decided to make a sort of audit of my spirituality. And I realised that my relationship with God, my spirituality, was kind of on tick over. Yes, I was still praying every day. I was still reading the Bible every day. I was still worshipping, carrying out my role as a parish priest. But I kind of lost that first passion that I had for God and was just doing things, on tick over, really. So I decided that that was the time for me to really re-energize my spirituality, re-energize my relationship with God. And part of what I did was to take on 3 new habits that I can tell you have absolutely transformed my relationship with God and transformed my life. So let me tell you about them today, and hopefully you might find them helpful as well. And the first of these was that I decided to proactively make choices to increase positive input into my life and to decrease negative input. Now, in part, that was about things like reducing the amount of time that I was scrolling through social media. If you're anything like me, you know, I can potentially waste hours of each day on TikTok or Instagram. And I was even finding that, you know, like when I was in the queue in the bank or something like that, then I would just immediately reach my phone and look on TikTok and just spend the time scrolling through reels. And I realized that a lot of what I was watching was either negative, or it certainly wasn't positive. It certainly wasn't building me up. Of an evening, you know, I'd sit on the sofa and I'd be kind of watching Netflix, and I just reviewed the sort of films I was watching, the sort of TV I was watching, and realizing again that a lot of it was sort of, well, not necessarily negative, but it was not really life-giving. You know, it wasn't really inspiring me in any way or building me up. So I chose to decrease the amount of time that I was spending on these social media platforms. But also, it goes beyond that. It was about analysing how much time I would waste looking at things over and over again. Let me give you an example. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a monk called Brother John, and Brother John was telling me that he has never ever seen any TV footage of the 9/11 attacks. He's never seen the Twin Towers coming down. And I said to him, my goodness me, how have you not seen that, and why don't you want to see it? And he said to me, Steve, he said, I know what happened. I read about it. I know the horror of what occurred that day. I don't need to see it in order to pray for those people. And it got me thinking about how many hundreds of times I've watched that, or, you know, when there's natural disasters in the world, how I'm just glued to the TV, watching the images over and over again, when I could actually switch the TV off and spend time in prayer. Do you know what I mean? So it's not always negative input in the sense that, you know, it's bad for us. It's just a case of, well, I could be using the time more wisely in prayer rather than this kind of mind-numbing repeat of stuff in my world. Now, that's one thing, but the other side of reducing negative impact was also about considering the balance of time that I spend with people. Now, let me explain. There was a guy called Gordon MacDonald who many years ago wrote a brilliant book called Reordering Your Broken World, I think it was. And in that book, he said that in life, we spend time with 3 types of people: VIPs, VDPs, and VNPs. What does he mean? Well, he says there's very inspiring people, the VIPs, very inspiring people. And these are people that when you spend time with them, you come away and you feel really energized. You feel up. You feel that you've got new ideas, a new passion for what you're doing, or they just generally leave you in a better place than when you before you met them. And then he said there's VDPs, who he calls very draining people, and they're people that you spend time with and they drain you. You come away from spending time with them feeling tired or exhausted or negative. Then he says there's VNPs, very nice people. And very nice people are people that we spend time with who leave us feeling neither inspired nor drained. Now, Gordon MacDonald said that when we analyse the amount of time that we spend with people, he said most of our time is spent with VDPs, very draining people, or VNPs, very nice people, from whom we get nothing particular. And he said the art, or one of the key factors to good mental health, is to increase the amount of time that we spend with VIPs, very inspiring people. So I made a proactive choice to try to get a better balance in my life, because as a parish priest, you spend a lot of time with VDPs and VNPs, but because of the busyness and the demands of pastoral care, you don't get to spend too much time with VIPs, the people who inspire you. So as well as seeking those people out on a personal level, I also determined to spend more time listening to podcasts and reading books and watching inspiring videos, people who would teach me and educate me and leave me feeling as if I gained something. So I would say to you, a good habit is to think about the input into your life, both through social media and through the people you surround yourselves with. And is it generally positive? Is it building you up? Or is it just nice, which is kind of fairly neutral? Or is it draining you? By reassessing the amount or the type of input that you have into your life, that could make a phenomenal difference to your spirituality and your relationship with God. Second habit that I took on was to proactively develop a better rhythm in life. Now, I talked about rhythm in life in another video recently, so I'm not going to overblow it in this one. But just to say that, you know, God created the world rhythmically. You know, there are seasons of the year. There are certain amount of days in a week. The sun goes up. The moon rises. You know, the animals in the world live by seasons, and the only people that don't live rhythmically are human beings. You know, we sort of go to bed when we want to go to bed, we get up when we want to get up, we'll do this one day, we'll do that another day, and we don't really live rhythmically. Now, we are part of the created order, and so it's within our DNA to be more rhythmic in our approach to living, to try to eat at the same time, to try to work at the same time, to take the same day off each week, and so on and so forth. So one of the things I did was to try to recover a sense of rhythm in my life, to pray in the same place pretty much each day, to pray at the same time each day, to do my Bible study at the same time, to make sure I got the same amount of hours relaxation each day as best I could, and to try to organise my work life so that, you know, I did the same tasks on a Monday, I did the same tasks every Tuesday, the same tasks every Wednesday, and so on, and whatever I could to build rhythm. And that, again, made a massive impact in my world, because it's kind of like I got in touch again with the person that God has created me to be and created you to be. We are rhythmic creatures. We are called to live with a certain rhythm and a certain pace in life. So that was really, really important, and that helped me connect with myself again. It helped me connect with God again, and better with his world and with other people. And the third habit that I took on that has transformed my life is to get more sleep. I think sleep is one of the most underrated spiritual disciplines. I'm an evangelical, and I've grown up in a sort of church world that says, we've got to be constantly working for the kingdom of God and constantly on the go for God, and there's time to sleep when you're dead, kind of thing. But that's played havoc with my mental health over the years, and my physical health as well, and my spiritual health. So I decided I was going to sleep more. And my goodness me, the impact more sleep has made on my relationship with God, I can't even begin to tell you. And sleep is such a good biblical principle. There's stories in the Bible, isn't there, of Jesus sleeping. There's 1 Kings 19, is it, I think, where Elijah is suffering from depression just after his battle with the prophets of Baal, and God tells him to sleep. So he spends a lot of time sleeping. There's loads of stories in the Bible where sleep is really important. And I think it's a really underrated spiritual discipline. So I now sleep far more than I used to. I get up very early. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, or 5:30, round about then. But I generally try to get to bed round about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. But it's a very deliberate choice to prioritise sleep as much as I can. So these are 3 habits, spiritual habits, that have completely transformed my life and my relationship with God. Are so important. And I would urge you to think through your own life and think about these 3 things: positivity, rhythm, and sleep, as 3 spiritual disciplines that you can engage with to deepen your relationship with God, reconnect yourself with Him, reconnect yourself with yourself, and reconnect yourself with God's world. Positivity, rhythm, and sleep. So I hope you found that useful, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon. Take care. Bye.